I'm on Patreon, and Patreon is a platform where I will upload interesting videos where you can learn astrology. And this is an exclusive Patreon only membership videos where you will get some interesting takes on Vedic astrology, some interesting learning on Vedic astrology, and a lot more secrets will be shared there.
Aries Ascendant. For Aries, it's a very important transit. Mars is your Lagna Lord as well as your 8th Lord. And this Mars goes in the 3rd house, house of courage, initiatives, house of siblings, friends. It is a house where your passion lies, and Mars represents all these things. That is why Mars will become very strong. It attains strength in this zodiac sign because it is a karaka of that zodiac, right? That house, that bhava. Now, when Mars goes in Gemini, it combines itself with the energy of Mercury. So it means a lot of enthusiasm, courage, will to act, power of communication. All this will be in your favor. But when you buy a Ferrari or when you buy any such car, would you buy a car without a brake? You won't even touch a vehicle where brakes don't perform, which clearly explains acceleration is good, but brake saves your life. So when Mars will go in Gemini, it will be a car without a brake. Although Saturn will be in the 11th house, bringing necessary traction in your life, but you might constantly try to pursue a dream knowing that it will not come out exactly the way you have planned. Still you will waste your energy. So wastage of energy will be a concern during this transit, especially by communicating more than necessary. This can create tension between friends, neighbors, siblings, and there can be some ego battle. Now up to first week of April, Venus will be with Rahu on your ascendant. This will increase jealousy. People who are influencers will face a positive time, but also might face controversy during the Mars transit in Gemini, especially if you are an Aries moon sign. Aries ascendants are affected, but Aries moon sign will be affected more psychologically because this will allow your mind to run like a deer aimlessly. So you will wander, you would want to move away from the current place. It will create dissatisfaction. Now, you have to see that if you are already living a monotonous life, if you have been working too much, it's a good thing. You need breaks, you need to visit, you need to travel, you need to gain experience, but in moderation. You usually will not go on a vacation for 90 days. You will go on a vacation for 3-4 days a week, maybe couple of weeks. Anything more than that is actually going to hurt your income, hurt your actual work. And that is a reminder that you must give whenever you are trying to do something. Initiatives will be taken with respect to your career. This Mars will have 8th aspect on your 10th house. So definitely this can disrupt the flow of your work, which means your communication. You might suddenly resign. You might have this feeling to start a business, do some entrepreneurship. All that will be the tendency of this Mars. Also, this Mars will try to bring more comfort in your life by cutting down the loan, by reducing and protecting yourself from enemies. So you should always chant Hanuman Chalisa, because this will not only give you empowerment, but this will also give you that confidence and will keep you grounded. Also, this is the time when people involved in energy sector, defense sector, law enforcing agencies will see positive growth, but will also see transformation and reforms coming your way. And if you are an engineer, if you want to pursue engineering, this is the time when you will see that your creative mindset will allow you to explore new ideas, new horizons, but explore everything under proper guidance, because this Mars will have the tendency to lose track until Venus comes out of Aries and Mars goes in Punarvasu Nakshatra. So a little bit of caution with proper enthusiasm. It's like a perfect cocktail of experience and youthfulness charming attitude, go-to personality, helping nature, all that will be a theme of this transit. Also, this transit wants you to focus on adhyatma. This transit wants you to focus more on spiritual side of life and take some things, take some initiatives to calm down and control your anger. This is also the time when you will be emotionally bit excited. You will have to have a proper meditation done every day, 5 minutes, to calm your mind down. So it's a very good Mars, but it's a Mars which has to be kept under control. Taurus. For Taurus, Mars rules your 12th house and 7th house, and this Mars goes in your 2nd house. This means that somebody from your family can travel abroad, travel to long distance. You might feel sad about that. Or someone who stays abroad or stays in a long distance like a relative may come to your house and you will have a happy time. So it is an energetic time in the family. It also means that you can have a family trip together. You can travel because of your children, because of their education. 2nd house Mars is actually very good in many aspects, especially this Mars will protect your interests. But there is another thing. This can affect your speech. This can affect the food intake. This can make you eat more calories, which in turn can increase your weight. So you must be very careful about the food that you eat and how you are eating, sugar intake, calorie intake, all that. Mars 4th aspect will fall on the 5th house, and this means that you will be overprotective towards your children. So that is one area where you must be extra cautious. Also, if you observe that while Mars is in Gemini, the 8th aspect will fall on Capricorn. Now this is something unique for you. While in the 2nd house, while Mars being in the 2nd house, and it aspects the 9th house, it makes you question the dharma. It makes you question your responsibility in your family, your position in your family. And if you have a tensed family environment, this can actually create a war, create a verbal spat, and this can give you more attention. So be very careful how you speak. Don't dominate and try to use the right words. It's a very good time for people who want to join family business, who wants to expand their family business, continue their legacy, who wants to, start something with their spouse, build some joint assets, buy a joint property, or work with your brother-in-law. This is also the time where Taurus natives will be dreaming a lot, and on the basis of assumption will make tall claims. You have to be very careful. You have to be practical. You must be grounded in your behavior, because you might end up claiming something that you can't defend. And if you can't defend, this will make you more insecure. So this also has a touch of insecurity, especially financial insecurity. But if you're humble, if you're grounded, if you're doing Hanuman Chalisa, if your Mars in your horoscope is positive, you can expect new career opportunities. You can expect travel. You can expect support from father. You can also expect that the business will give you a lot of wealth. The money that is stuck in the market will come back to you. You will start getting favors, and maybe you with your partner will hustle, and this is very good time for entrepreneurship. This is very good time to build strategy, and if you are in real estate, if you are in energy sector, this is going to be an excellent time. Engineering sector or engineering students will benefit out of this, especially if you're into architecture. Automobile sector, especially because Mars will be in Mrigshira Nakshatra. Automobile sector, aviation sector. If you are a flight crew, if you want to be a pilot, if you are a pilot, this is going to also give you a lot of positive growth, and it will guide you to possible, you can say, a new career, a new job, new venture, or maybe a new promotion. Just that because Saturn is in your 10th house, you must ensure that your way of doing karma is like Saturn. That means you know your resource, but you are practicing restraint, and you are showing a lot of patience in your mind, because an impatient mind will speak a lot, and in depression will eat a lot, and in both the cases will see defeat. This is one area where Mars can be really irritated. Wait for Venus to come back on your ascendant, and only then make some important decisions that is in sync with your horoscope. Gemini. Mars will move in your first house, and Mars rules your 6th house and 11th house. So basically Mars rules two of important Upachaya houses, the houses that are responsible for your job, for the service, for the source of income, for the friends and for the enemies. So both Mars is ruling both friends and enemies during this time. And when they come on your first house, you will see that you will meet a lot of people, both who are your well-wishers and who are your critics. With well-wishers, you should be very cooperative, and with critics, you should be respectful. Because see, what will happen with Mars in the first house, it is going to elevate your anger. If your anger gets elevated, it will affect your house, it will affect your partner, it will affect your environment. You will radiate toxic energy, and ultimately it will bring negative transformation. But if you observe that if Mars is controlled in a positive manner, and if this Mars utilizes the power of Saturn, which is in 9th house from this Mars. Remember, the Saturn is in the Bhagya and Dharma of this Mars. So the sole duty of this Mars is restraint, patience. This Mars has to wait. This Mars has to observe. This Mars is not here to act. This Mars is here to plan. So when you are handling the energy of the Mars on Lagna, and if you are born with Mars Mahadasha right now, or if you are born in a Mars Mahadasha, that means your moon is in Mars Nakshatra, or you have somehow Gemini and Mars has some connection, or even Mercury and Mars have connection, you will be mostly affected by this transit. And it totally depends on how you are taking this transit. How you are being over masculine, or you are having patience. So going into an absolute masculine way in this Mars in Gemini on your ascendant, for Gemini ascendant and moon sign, is negative. Because the ultimate dharma is patience, not action. Yes, you might plan a change of house, you might plan a change of asset, you might plan a future investment, you might see a strategy that you can build for your business. You might bring in new partner, there may be talks of a career change. All that is okay. But before converting it into a decision, before converting it into a final action that will actually happen in your life, lot of strategy and planning to and fro, pros and cons, plus, minus, everything has to be seen and discussed with a proper mentor. Because if you observe, Jupiter will be in 10th house, Saturn will be in 9th house, Mars is in 1st house. All this is a very, very good Rajyog for you. Very positive. The problem is Rahu in 11th house. Because Rahu is in 11th house, it will create insecurities. It will bring in people who will support you, or at least show the support, and can misguide. So be very careful with such energies who can misguide. If you know somebody very closely and you can trust, share some personal stuff with such trustworthy person, and if you don't have any, share it with God. But don't be vulnerable during this time. Anger will make you vulnerable. You won't even realize how quickly your anger will rise and will go out of proportion. Your response will go out of proportion, and that will hurt people around you. And in certain cases, like for example, if you're Gemini ascendant, your Mars is in 6th house. Although Mars being in its own house, it can create further problem. You also have to be very careful about your health, because sometimes you may overburn because of a competitive spirit. You would want to compete with someone, you would want to beat someone in race, and that's all you can think right now. And that will hurt your health big time. you also have to respect your limits and do what you have to do. And sometimes you have to be mechanical because you are doing because it is required to be done, not because it is going to be a dream fulfilling action. But also with Jupiter in the 10th house, you must also know that this action is as per Shastra. This action is happening to bring peace and harmony around you. Your aggression is for a cause. Put your aggression and anger for a cause, for a justifiable cause, for the social upliftment, for the welfare of people around you, for your welfare of society. You will see that it will give you lot of positive energy. Practicing Vipassana Dhyan during this time. Going to Hanuman temple every Tuesday and Saturday. Just taking the name of Ram. If you don't know anything, you simply say Ram, 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 Ram. Just taking the name of Bhagwan Shri Ram will calm your energy down, because your mind will be everywhere. Good time to travel for some leisure. This is the time where you relax, take a step back, plan, think, and then take action. Cancer, Kark zodiac sign. For you, Mars is a very important planet. Mars rules your 10th house and 5th house. It is a Yogakaraka planet. And when such a planet goes in the 12th house of isolation, of long distance travel, of foreign trips, it starts affecting your subconscious mind. It starts making you believe that you deserve better, because 12th house Mars is like a soldier in exile. It's like a soldier with less support. So you might face this resource crunch during this time, especially if you are alone in a foreign land, or if you are a student studying in a different city. If you are someone who has joined a new job in a different city outside your home, you might feel slightly restless and there will be homesickness. What you will have to do is just pray to Hanuman, go to an Hanuman temple, talk to your family members, don't feel isolated, go out with your friends and have company. Because if you see, your 5th lord is in 12th house also means that there is a possible chance that your knowledge, your talent and your experience have given you this opportunity. Don't lose this opportunity because of a certain emotional wave. You have to think logically when Mars will be in the 12th house, because this Mars will aspect your 3rd house. You can fight all the odds during this time. Mars is going to protect your courage. But then this will be more like a transaction. That means it's like you are in a ring, and if you are blowing 5 punches, you must have the capacity to at least face couple of punches. Because it can't be the case where you are the one who is dominant. Mars is not a dominant planet in the 12th house. 12th house is the house of loss. Jupiter and Venus perform well in certain cases in that house. Sun goes into very bad situation when it goes in the 12th house. I've uploaded a explanation on my Patreon channel. So if you can subscribe on my Patreon, you will get to know. Now, Mars is the 10th lord also. So people who want to study abroad, who want to join medical courses, who are doctors, who are surgeons, who are soldiers, who are posted in a very difficult terrain, or even if you're into career like in IT or energy sector, you will be posted in overseas. That may fulfill your desire, but that's a handful of population. For others, it may feel like you are left alone to fight. So this will be not that great feeling, considering that if you are a Cancer moon sign, Saturn is also 8th from your ascendant. Considering this combination, the right thing to do while Mars is in the 12th house is to do a lot of donation, walk every day, reduce the energy signature by doing a lot of physical exercise, or at least do yoga, do a lot of mental exercise, keep yourself busy all the time. If you keep yourself occupied, this intrusive thoughts will not trouble you. But the moment you are silent and you are free and you don't have anything to do, you will have this restless attitude, restless feeling, and you will always feel like you are on the toes and something will happen. Because when Mars goes in the 12th house, Mars is afraid. Mars goes over defensive. And with Gemini, then the fickleness of Mars, the movement of Mars will increase a lot, and you won't be able to catch the air. People who are suffering from blood pressure, who are suffering from breathing issues, should be very careful during this time. Don't overload yourself, but still keep yourself busy. You can keep yourself busy even by reading a book. This Mars placement can also bring some extra financial expense. This expense can come because of your career change, because of your own decisions, because of your education, but it is going to be good for you. Just be careful that you are saving most of the money while Mars is in the 12th house, so that whenever the necessary expense comes, you have the funds. So definitely it is not the time to overspend anything other than anything that is important in your life. It can be anything. Say somebody says, I want to buy an iPhone. It can be important. If he is an influencer, if he is into videos, and if that is his business, it is important. But if a student says, I want an iPhone 14 Pro, and there is a resource crunch in the family, then it can't be justified, because that's not making or giving you any revenue. So that is how you will have to think very logically, very rationally in a transaction. So if you're gaining something, what are you giving back? What are you losing to gain something? That exchange of energy will happen. It's a good time to learn pranic healing, Reiki, or similar energy healing courses, or receiving such kind of energy will also help you. Going into an ashram, trying to look for your health, focusing more on giving up bad habits will work beautifully in this transit. Leo, another zodiac for which Mars is an extremely important planet. Why? Because for Leo, Mars is your Dharma Lord, it's your 9th Lord, and it's your Sukh Bhava Swami, house of happiness, 4th house. It is your parent, father, guru, mother. That's how important Mars is for you. Imagine a king. Who is the biggest support for the king? The military general, the one who controls the army. Because only because of his strategy, only because of his command, the king's reign will flourish, and the king will be defended and protected. Just like a parent protecting the child from all possible odds and sacrificing their life for their kids. That's what the role of army and defense forces is. They defend you like they are your parents. Selfless act of bravery. That's how important Mars for you is if you're a Leo ascendant or Leo moon sign. And this Mars going in the 11th house is an exceptionally positive transit for you. This will bring in new people. People who will be like your brother. People who will be like your guide and mentor. Yes, you may have to run around to find them. You may have to run around to, get some favor. Or at least allow them to listen to you. But yes, eventually you will get hold of such people, and you will be able to get some proper guidance. They will favor you, and you will get a lot of positive energy from people around you. This is like a very powerful and positive energy circuit that will be given to you during this time. Especially considering that your ascendant and your moon sign is heavily affected by Saturn in the 7th house. This is the time when your wish fulfillment will happen, because from a very long time you are struggling. Ketu in the 3rd and Saturn in the 7th are not giving enough. Struggle after struggle, problem after problem, not for every Leo, but for many. This Mars comes as a savior. When your 4th Lord goes in the 11th house, your assets will start producing income. Anything that was stuck will now move. You will also see that your loans are reducing, your income is increasing, there is a relief coming in, or at least news of that is coming, so that you know that there will be relief in future. Your debts will go down. Even if you're fighting a court case, and then there is a chance that you will find a relief there also. And after all, Mars being in the 11th will aspect the 2nd house, therefore securing your finances. So financially, it's an exceptional transit. It's a transit which will give you and prepare you for the bigger war, will show you the bigger picture, will bring in people that support you, and therefore ultimately it creates a harmony in your life. And yes, to earn that, you may have to travel. You may have to accept displacement in your life. This might increase isolation, but it will give you a family beyond the family. That's how powerful this Mars is. And this Mars also has the potential to heal you. So do a lot of energy healing and energy therapy, yoga, pranayam, because all that will help you in the long run. The only problem with Mars going in the 11th house is that it creates a pap kartari on the 10th house, which means there will be some challenging decisions that you may have to take, which will put your reputation and your designation, your basically a lot of things at stake. But if you're doing that with a lot of calculation and under positive guidance, with a positive and right intent, it won't be a pap kartari. Planets will support you. For any risky decision, you need to wait for Venus to enter the Taurus zodiac sign. Because as long as Venus is in Aries, there will be problems in career. Once Venus goes back to Taurus, there will be a lot of relief. I will upload another video for Venus transit in Taurus. But at least with respect to Mars, you have to understand that Venus is also very important. It's your 10th and 3rd lord. And this Venus is gain of this Mars, because this Venus is 11th from the Mars. So definitely there are career gains, but then you will have to accept challenges. You will have to accept difficulties, and you will have to cross all the hurdles. Be ready to give the test, and don't be fearful, because this Mars aspects your 5th house. It will give you positive and happy news with respect to your children, and also it will give you an edge over others in competitive examination, only if you work double hard. Some cases, even if you work 200%, you don't get results. But here Mars said that, hey, if you give your 200%, Mars will give you positive energy, positive results. This is also the time to do Vastu correction in your home. This is also the time to start a new venture, a new partnership. And this is also the time that if you want to resolve issues with your brothers and family members, you can do it. Spend some time meditating and chanting Hanuman Chalisa. Virgo. For Virgo, Mars is again a very important planet. The reason being, Mars rules your 8th house and 3rd house. Now, Mars rules 8th house and 8th from 8th house, which is Scorpio. Therefore, all the uncertainties of life, all the battle, all the glory, all the power resides with this Mars. If this Mars is in your favor, you will take over all the problems, and you will win over challenges, and win contest and be very healthy. But if Mars is bad, this can create trouble, especially if you have a negative Mars with respect to your moon, and if you are a Virgo moon, obviously. The remedy of this Mars will be that you must surrender to the divine and keep working, keep moving. The day you stop, things will go downhill. So when such Mars goes in the 10th house, it will give you more confidence. It will give you new opportunities, and it will give you capacity to work. It will give you growth in your career. It will give you confidence. It will give you power to overcome the battle and the challenges of your life. It is the 3rd lord going in the 10th house. It is going to work on your reputation. Just that you should not be immature in your career while dealing with people. You should not be immature in your life dealing with challenges, and you should not worry, you should not feel anxious, and you should not react to situations. Because if you start reacting to every situation, then this will create a war in your life, and this Mars in Vrikshara will put you all over the place. Now, talking about all over the place, it also means that you will be given more responsibility than you can handle, and you will be present in many places all at once, and that can trouble your mind. So be very careful. Although it's a very good transit, but this can just overwhelm you. Chanting Hanuman Chalisa, visiting temple, and doing your task with full conviction, with full ownership of the task will fetch you name, fame, and people and your supervisors will think that you are reliable. Your business partner will think that you are reliable. You might bring the investment. Even if your business is dying, there's a possibility that it may revive. Just that if you're a student, this can be a very troublesome time because there will be a lot of distraction, a lot of responsibility, and that responsibility can trouble your mind. That responsibility can make you, overwhelmed, and you might forget. Especially if you have to write an exam during this time, you have to be double prepared. Overall, it is a very positive transit. It will also aspect your 4th house. So you should not bring an argument from the office to your house, and try to keep your personal and professional life separate. This also means that your wife, if you're married, or your husband, that means your spouse will be slightly irritated by your behavior. So you will constantly have to re-evaluate your own actions many times a day, just to say that you are not, by your own aggression, you're not intimidating anyone around you. I'm not talking about general, but just from the family. And with Mars ruling the 8th house energies will also enter the 10th house. So there's a huge possibility of career change. Also, people involved in taxation, people who are into law enforcement will see promotion, positive growth, good news. And anything that has to do with sports, athletics, gymming, you will see good growth during this time. Overall, it's a very positive transit for you. Libra. For Libra, Mars will move in the 9th house. Now, planets transiting the 9th house is actually good for you. But then you have to understand with respect to your zodiac, what is Mars? Mars is everything about your personal life. It is about your family. It is about your marriage. It's about your wealth. It's about your business. It's about people you interact with. It's basically nearly everything for you. And when that Mars goes to the 9th house, it is actually going to be extremely positive. But it is also going to make you roam around. It is also going to make you run. There will be sudden travel, unexpected plans, emergency travel plans. So be prepared for all these kind of sudden activity that will happen in your life during Mars transit in the Gemini in your 9th house. Also, you see that this Ketu, this Mars, will be the dharma of Ketu. And Ketu wants to change your identity. It wants you to go away from something. So if you want to let go of something, if you want to go away, if you want to quit something, this transit will facilitate that process of quitting. It can be anything. This transit will not allow you to keep something. This transit will allow you to leave something behind. You will let it go. It is a transit of completion. So a lot of unfinished tasks and projects will complete during this time. Health of your father will be a concern, as well as health of your mother will be a concern, because Mars 8th aspect falls on your 4th house, which also means that your comfort zone will no longer exist. You will have to either create one or struggle, work hard, hustle. There will be unexpected expenses also, because Mars 4th aspect falls on the 12th house. And because Mars directly watches the 3rd house, expression will be a problem. Your expression can be hurting to someone's ears. So you will have to be very polite and very dharmic in your communication, following the protocol. The moment you breach the protocol, you will be in problem. Also, when you experience the power of Venus, which is your ascendant lord, Venus will be with Rahu. So definitely there will be, see, when you're talking about leisure travel, when you're talking about going to some nice exotic place and you want to enjoy, that's fine. But be ready for some extra expense, maybe some medical expense, maybe a financial loss, maybe a gadget breaks down. Have some extra cash at your hand, because those events will happen one way or the other, either with you or with someone else for whom you are responsible. So at the end of the day, you will be the one who will be dealing with such things. And with Venus transiting Aries zodiac sign, and then when Venus will move to the Taurus zodiac sign, and when Venus will touch Mars, the energy of Venus is from Rahu to Mars, which means that you will have to be very careful in your relationships, because this can create negative love affairs, controversies. This can destroy marriages. This can create doubt in people's heart and mind, and that doubt can build a tree of a failed marriage. Clarity, honesty, proactive approach towards life, also capacity to bear the weight. All that is necessary. And this is the time when you should visit temples, especially Hanuman temple, every day if possible, or at least go and take some pilgrimage. Enjoy, live in a 5-star hotel if you can, but then go to a temple and bow down towards the feet of the god and just leave. Already this is a transit to leave things, right? So why don't you leave your worry? Why don't you just exhale out the problem from your life? So practice pranayam. Vayu tattva will be dominant for you. Practicing pranayam will work. You need to calm and control the eagerness, the lust, and the negative potential of your kundalini. People who will practice tantra will understand that this is a good time to reach great heights if you are practicing any sort of tantra. Don't experiment. If you have a guru, then it is better. Chanting Angarak Stotra, Hanuman Chalisa, visiting Hanuman temple, feeding the animals, helping anybody. And just do, even if you're not doing anything, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you are doing the remedy. That's how this Mars in the 9th house is. Do what you're supposed to do. That's it. And this Mars will work brilliantly for you. Be polite, be humble, be diplomatic in your approach, whether financial or personal. Also, do not overindulge into showing or proving that you are right, or you will lose the debate. Scorpio. Your ascendant is ruled by Mars, and this Mars travels in the 8th house. 8th house is not a surprising place for Mars. 8th house is in fact a place where Mars becomes very angry, ferocious, very spy-like, can create strategies which nobody can understand. It can be a very good person who can go into forensic sciences, trying to work on law enforcement, taxation, like a tax reformer, and someone who can work behind the scene and help the king fight the battle, who will lay out all the strategy but will never come right in front. That means this kind of transformation will be on the card, but you will not directly see it happening right in front of you. So when things are not right, if things are not right, don't get sad and don't get angry, don't get frustrated. You have to see the bigger picture, because if you see the picture in a very short vision, you will never be able to find the reality. The biggest reason is because your 6th lord is in the 8th house. This is a Vipreet Rajyog. But this Vipreet Rajyog is creating a Pap Kartari on Taurus zodiac sign. That is something weird. That means something that is causing you harm is also restricting you and giving you profits. Let's take an example. Because you know that there is going to be a problematic situation, you become aware and alert, and you try to safeguard yourself by being within the limits. That is how you respect your limits. And when you do that, it triggers a chain of karmic reaction that ultimately leads to your profit and will give you transformation. Yes, it won't be exactly not how you want it to be, because Mars in 8th house don't give results the way you wish. Mars in 8th house is like a volcano waiting to erupt. So your emotions can also erupt like a volcano and hurt others because Mars directly aspects the second house. It is the time when you have to focus on your investments. You have to focus on your in-laws side. You will have to focus on your wife's family. You have to make your terms right with your brother-in-law. All this if you are married. If you want to bring investments in your business from outside, this is a very good time. It's a good time to take an oath of physical transformation. Taking care of your health is the theme of this transit, especially if you have any blood-related problem. Also, this is the time when you should avoid enmity with anyone and try to lay low, like it's like you are in secrecy. Also, you must not reveal your emotions very quickly. You must find the right place and the right time and then try to talk in a very calculated, strategic manner. See, following the path of discipline and strategy is going to be the theme of this transit. And this transit is going to make you desperate for change. But Jupiter is there aspecting your first house. Jupiter is there 10th from this Mars. So with proper learning, you will be able to make a change. With proper guidance, you will be able to make a change. But this Mars can also be destructive sometimes. And this may result into electrical failures in your house, electronic gadgets breaking down. Sometimes you might feel that there is a problem in your vehicle or there is a sudden loss. A sudden loss that is like a warning sign. It won't be a big loss. Obviously, your horoscope has to be seen for that. And in a very generic sense, it will be acting like a reminder. As if a bullet has passed just very near to the soldier. Now soldier knows that somebody is there. So if you don't take proper defense and if you don't take a defensive stand, you will be in the line of fire. So this is a defensive transit. Remember, this is not a transit of offense, but a transit of defense. Doesn't matter which area of life you're thinking. Also, this is the time when your income can change. Growth, change, sudden change of role, sudden change of supervisor may be possible during this time. This is also the time when you will have to leave your comfort zone and you might be forced to take certain decision, which is a bold decision, which will have collateral damage, obviously. You must try to have this collateral damage kept to minimum. Chant Hanuman Chalisa 3 times a day to keep your mind calm and maintain a firm stand. Control your anger. Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, Mars rules your 5th house and it rules your 12th house. So it controls your finances in a way, because 5th house is what? 5th house is your expression, 5th house is romance, love, children, productivity of life, gain from business. 12th house is your expenses, how you can get isolated. So if you combine 5th and 12th house, it is like somebody trying to go into a foreign country for education, for their career. It is also someone who can impact someone's mind subconsciously, like a healer, like a media personality, someone who is a preacher. Now, bring this kind of Mars in your 7th house. This is a very good time for business growth, especially if you are related in education sector, tech sector, basically ed tech and fintech. And this is also connected to export and import of goods and services. But this is not so great for marriages. Why? Because see, 7th house is the house of balance. It is the house of equality. 7th house Mars means this Mars has nothing to do in reality. This Mars will try to find a problem. So this will create a mindset where you will try to search for a problem in your life partner or the family. And if there's a real problem, it will come right in front of you. So basically, what should you do? You should practice patience. Try to not get involved into any kind of heated debate or argument with your spouse, even with your business partner. Not a great time to start a new partnership. This is the time when you can search a life partner. Begin your search if you are eligible for marriage. This is the time to explore new territories in your business, expansion of your business outside your local area. that is possible. People involved in creative expressions will see great boost because of the presence of Venus and Rahu in the 5th house. Also, if you see that Saturn will be in the 3rd house, so you will be irritated by random changes in the surroundings, but you have to practice restraint and focus. Focus on your health, focus on your well-being, focus on your personality. Don't get offended by criticism that comes towards you. And this is the time when you are putting your talent in front of other people. So anybody who wants to showcase their talent, follow their passion, great time. It's a good time for people involved in IT industry. It's a good time for people who want to do something in energy sector, especially alternative energy. This is also a time when arguments will happen. Little small arguments, but it will have huge impact. You will see out of proportion reaction of people, and so you will have to practice silence. This Mars 8th aspect falls on your 2nd house, although this is the exalt aspect of Mangal, but still this is not good for the personal life, although it is very good for professional life. This is going to create more tensions in the family. It might be because of your the fight between a family member and your spouse, or you and your spouse's family member can take place. Some arguments, some misunderstandings, and things will become a battlefield. Because Mars in 7th house, search for a battle. Because in 7th house, the battle ends. It's democracy. Everybody has equal rights. But Mars is war. It is competition. Going ahead of somebody, not just walk along. That is why Saturn, Venus becomes very positive in this this particular bhava, because that's the natural Libra energy. But Libra is exactly opposite of Aries, right? If Aries is expansion, if Aries is desire, Libra is basically being in unity and being in harmony with your existence along with your desire. Balance. That is why it is symbolized by a common balance. Put Mars there, and Mars has to, if you put Mars in one part of the common balance, what will you put on the other side that can counterweigh the Mars? Something where Mars will be utilized, right? That means a war. So you will have to see that if there is a war that is coming your way, it becomes inevitable and you have to be involved. But then you will have to be very matured. You will have to handle, because 3rd house has Saturn, you must practice restraint. You must not immediately get involved. And if you are getting involved, give advice as minimum as possible. And focus on yourself first and the impact of the surroundings on yourself. Try to refrain from, going into an atmosphere where there is over the top energy, because that energy will impact you negatively. This is the time when you should be close to nature, beside a river, listening to the sounds of nature, chirping of the birds, and let your imagination flow, because that will give you ideas to excel. Capricorn. For Capricorn, Mars is also a Yogakaraka planet. It rules your 11th house, it rules your 4th house, so it rules your income, gains, friends, assets, your close circle and your extended circle. And when such a planet goes in your 6th house, you will have to see that you are not becoming a cause of the rivalry between two relationships. You are not interfering in people's life, and you are just living your own natural life, because this is going to be a time frame which is extremely positive for you. So focus more on your life than anybody else's life, unless it's important and you need to be. Mars in 6th house is actually very good, because 6th house is actually the territory of war, fight, conflicts, resolution of the conflict. This is the place where competition happens. This is the place where that rat race happens, and Mars loves all this. Mars loves to compete. So this will increase your competitive spirit, and if you are into any such examination, you will fare well. At least you will see that your efficiency will increase during this time. Just that, how are you competing? Is that in healthy competition? Then good. The moment you follow the path of adharma, because Mars Fourth aspect will fall on the house of Dharma, the ninth house. If it follows the path of a Dharma, then Saturn in the second house will take everything away. And the same Mars will become angry. See, Mars is a soldier and needs discipline. You can't break the order, break the protocol and expect Mars to give you something. So, follow the protocol, go by the book. This is definitely going to bring a big change in your career. This is going to help you in your court cases. This is going to help you in winning a war, winning a competition. But it also will see whether your war, your attempts are logical, are required, and there is no selfishness attached to it. Otherwise, Mars, which is aspecting your Lagna and your 12th house, will start creating health issues. Accidents will be on the card. So you might be absent-minded, you might be thinking something and suddenly there is a minor accident and now you are in trouble. Now there is a legal case. Now there is a financial problem. Also look out for all the paperwork, all the taxation, any bills that are pending, and try to cut down on your debts during this time, because this is going to be a really good time for Capricorn. But because Mars 8th aspect falls on your Lagna, you will also see that there are enemies trying to win over you, and they might try to harm you. Not literally, but from the mental level, maybe because of the competition, because of the office politics, because of some discussion that might happen that might trouble you. In order to control all this, you need to, and if you are in trouble, right? If you are really in trouble, then you can pray to Bhagwan Hanuman by chanting Bajrang Baan. Otherwise, simply pray Hanuman Chalisa, or simply say the Hanuman mantra Om Ham Hanumate Namah. Or you can also chant this shloka: Mano Javam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhi Matam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayuth Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye. This is how you can remember Bhagwan Hanuman, and by praying and by surrendering. Remember, 6th house is the house of service. That's the ultimate goal of the 6th house. The ultimate goal of the 6th house is to serve the needy, help the poor, and heal the sick. And it is like a revelation that there is nothing in war. And when Mars goes there, this is exactly how you will learn. Imagine you are so hell-bent on fulfilling a dream. Mars will make you accelerate towards that. And if actually that is not meant for you, you will meet that situation. It can be disappointing. But this is how planets work. They work in our favor. But you have to understand who the planet is, where it is sitting. Also, you will have to keep a track on Mercury, because Mercury will join Rahu. So it is a very good time for people involved in technology, people involved in engineering, advanced studies, data mining, and also strategy, planning, policy making, military warfare, defense industry, police, army. Those examination, those areas will also brilliantly work for you. For Capricorn, this is going to be a very strong transit, a transit that needs you to be headstrong and face the challenge. Aquarius. For Aquarius, Mars is a very important planet. Mars rules your 3rd and 10th house. 3rd house is a house which defines your courage, your initiatives, your passion. And 10th house is something where people know you. You define your career, your existence. You come into limelight because of that. So Mars is very important for your professional career, for how you make a name in this world, how you define your own existence. And this Mars will be in your 5th house. Now this Mars has a very unique energy signature while it is in the 5th house, because it aspects 2 Trik Bhava, one with the 4th and one with the 8th aspect. With the 4th aspect, Mars aspects 8th house. Therefore, it wants to protect all the ups and downs by bringing everything into your knowledge. So this is the time when, if you want to inquire on something, if you want to locate a fault, if you want to look for a flaws in your, it's like doing testing on your project. This is the right time. This will bring all the data and information right on your table so that you can plan in a better way, because Mars has a 8th aspect on 12th house. This Mars do not want you to commit a mistake. What is the negative side? The negative side will be that whatever you're doing, you will be scared of a mistake. And that will always be on top of your mind and can create sleepless nights. Also, failure of children can trouble you a lot. You might react in a very irrational manner, so you have to be very careful about your behavior, about your expression, about how you are radiating the message. And sometimes you want to say something and you speak. There is a mechanical, biological action. Then it converts into words, and that's the message you want to deliver. But by the time it reaches the ear of someone else, and then it gets interpreted in someone else's brain, the meaning changes. This is exactly what will happen, and this might create tensions, losses, court cases. It might isolate you. It might put you into a situation where you are somehow covering and spending more time justifying and explaining your point of view rather than living with it, rather than just going along. So be very careful when you are saying something, when you are committing anything, when you are out of anger or out of sheer enthusiasm, you're declaring something that you know, something that you can, something that you want. All this might create disturbance, a ripple in your existence that will tear apart your knowledge and will force you to learn more, gather more information. You will become that hunter and gatherer. That is the concept with Mars in the 5th house. See, 5th house is also the house of love and romance. Mars in this house in Vrikshana Nakshatra can make you desperate for love, can make you roam around, do crazy things, control that tamasic energy. Also, 5th house is your stomach and solar plexus region, so the energy, the fear can rise. Heal your solar plexus. Take care of your stomach. Do yogi kriya, that is going to heal your stomach. Eat right food, and on Tuesdays eat low calorie food if you are healthy, if it is possible for you. Also, on every Tuesday, chant Angarak Stotra. Hanuman Chalisa goes by default every day, but chant Angarak Stotra every Tuesday and donate red colored fruits and objects to people who are in need. For them, it is like you are sharing your Martian energy with the people who are in need, who are weak, because a portion of this energy will only recharge their life. So you're not doing anything negative. And in case you are troubled by enemies, then you may, under the guidance of a guru, you may chant Bajrang Baan. See, also you have to observe that this Mars in 5th is actually the expression of Saturn. Saturn is on your ascendant, and this Saturn wants you to move slightly faster so that Saturn can actually, plan something. It is like, imagine a higher end strategist in an elite armed force asked a group of soldiers, go and find the total number of units available, give me all the data necessary so that with that data I can plan. So whatever this Mars will do, it will do under the strict guidance of Saturn, because they are in trine to each other. And naturally, with Mars in Gemini, Saturn becomes the dharma of this Mars. So this is where the life goes in cruise mode, where both brakes and accelerator will work fine. But the moment you try to disturb this equilibrium, everything upsets. So if life is going in an equilibrium, let it move. Don't introduce an element that will cause disruption. Like suddenly you have this feeling to resign and maybe find a new job. No, do not introduce disruption. You want to act, learn the process before changing the process. Pisces. For Pisces, Mars will move in your 4th house. 4th house is about happiness, peace of mind, house, country, vehicles, mother, support from family, close friends, something that is close to your heart, love, emotions, care, nurture, nourishment, and a feeling when you hug your loved ones. When you bring Mars, Mars emphasizes your life towards all these energies. This is a good time for relocation. This is a good time to start searching for a life partner, because Mars' fourth aspect falls on the seventh house. But this is also the time when you will bring your tensions from the career in the family, and that can become a reason of verbal dispute between you and your family members. There can be also a situation where you are caught between your mother and your spouse. And then if you're married, obviously, and then that creates a lot of problem, even for people who are trying to get married, and there are family tensions. This might inflammate that family tension and flare up. Also, you will have to be very careful about anxiety coming your way because of certain anticipation. Now, this anxiety can be for good thing, like you're waiting for something, you're anxious about that event should happen very quickly. Now, this anticipation of a faster reaction will not make anything go faster. Only it is going to trouble your mind. The good thing is Jupiter is on your ascendant, which is going to give you a lot of positive energy. Rahu Venus in the second house ensures that you get more wealth, and Mars aspect on the 10th house will drive that wealth. But this also means that you may have to leave your comfort zone. You may have to figure out new ways to explore life. You may have to change the current dimension in order to get a job. Change your plans. This will also change your mindset. Say, for example, somebody wanted, say, to marry or to find a job in a certain area. This Mars will make you come out of that, and maybe now you will explore somewhere outside. It's a good time to think about buying a real estate property, buying a new vehicle, because Mars and Mrigshira, new vehicle, good time. It's going to be a good time for people involved in real estate, brokering, commissioning, somebody who is into vehicles, like it can be automobiles, it can be railways, it can be shipping industry, it can be aviation. By any way, if you're associated with those kind of industries, you will see some positive growth. Maybe you will not be directly impacted during this time. Some will and some will not, but at least you will have a hope that you will be impacted positively in future. Say, for example, somebody who has recently joined will not get a salary hike, but will get a new role which will add on to the CV, and later on he can utilize this experience and gain benefits out of it. So you must have a vision in your life when you are Pisces and Mars is in the fourth house, because Pisces has Mars ruling the second and ninth house. So it rules your family, it rules your father, your guru, it rules your guidance, it rules your higher order intellect. So Mars has the capacity to bear the weight of the family. So this is also the time when you will be asked to take the responsibility of your family, whether you like or not. And if you fulfill that duty, fulfill that role, obviously there will be expenses. Expenses will be on the higher side for you. Whether it is a responsible expense or whether it is a casual expense, considering Saturn is in the 12th house, you will have to fulfill that duty that has been asked. So whatever you have to do, you got to do. Nothing can be done. But then you also have to question whether you are following the path of dharma. Also, reading Bhagavad Gita, reading scriptures, reading Sundarkand during this time, feeling God. When ninth lord is in fourth house, you must feel God. You must be emotional about God. You must be in relation to the divine. And when you do that, the kripa will come, the blessings will come, and that shapes your life in a very different manner. Also, the health of your mother can cause some tension, and you must respect the opinion of other people around you, which might bring discomfort. You might feel insulted, you might feel anxious, you might feel there will be an irresistible desire to react to the situation, give a befitting reply, but you will have to practice patience. Otherwise, Saturn in the 12th and Rahu in the 2nd is going to crush your ascendant. Let your Venus first come in the 3rd house. That will be good for creative pursuits, actors, musicians, someone who is into painting, creativity, and any sort of creativity, including cooking, including salon, including wellness. Also, it's a good time to think about sports apparel, sports shoes. People working in gym will see some positive growth while Mars is in 4th house. Chanting Hanuman Chalisa and visiting Hanuman temple and just following the path of bhakti will be the right thing for you.